Hey guys, so I realized that I haven't really done a sort of culture difference slash culture shock video. And I was reminded of this fact because just this past week, Megan over at Chonun Miguk Saram, check out her channel, it's really good, did one. And so I just thought, like there's a lot of stuff I feel like I could talk about too. Hopefully I won't repeat the things that she said. Okay, so one of the things I was shocked about, first of all, was the public transportation. Now, first of all, I live in a really small town, comparatively to where I used to live. There is no public transportation. There are no buses, there's no taxis, there's no subway, and even in Milwaukee, which is the closest biggest city to me, we only have buses and taxis you kind of have to call. You just don't see a taxi on the street. So when I got there, I just was so shocked by how good it is. And cheap, for one thing, because a taxi here, if I were to go from my job to downtown to hang out with people, if I didn't have a car, I would maybe take a taxi. Probably not. But the taxi would cost $25 for a 6-mile trip. Whereas a roughly 5.5, 6-mile trip where I used to live would cost me $12. And you don't have to tip the taxi driver. They don't do tipping there. You don't do it. So that's a big plus. And I will roll into that, by the way. Tipping culture, if you pay people enough, you don't have to tip. I don't know what people make over in Korea for the kind of jobs you would tip for here. But I hate having to tip people here. Of course I tip people. That's just what you do when you get good service. But it was so annoying to come back here from when, for about 3 years, I wasn't tipping anyone. And it was so great. So yeah, I miss that. Another thing is food, and I don't necessarily mean things like eating kimchi and eating bandegi. Like, I expected that stuff when I went there. But something like getting a fish. If you were to go out to an American restaurant and you get fish, whether it's fish fry, which is really big here in the Midwest, getting a filleted fish. You get the fish filleted. It's cleaned, it's gutted, there's no bones, and that's it. But when you order fish in Korea, whatever, unless you maybe go to like a really fancy place, like if you're just going to a Korean restaurant to get some fish, you get the whole fish. Like, there's the head and the tail and the skin still on it, and the bones are definitely in there. And I actually had a story once because this was something I noticed when I would go out with my co-teachers or even getting fish at school. This is just something you'd get. You would not see that here. But anyway, I told them, I'm like, wow, this is really different. And they're like, why? I said, well, if you order fish in an American restaurant, there won't be any bones in it because someone will sue. And they started laughing like they thought it was a joke. And I said, no. Someone would probably sue. Not necessarily for getting bones, they would just send it back. But if you choke on a bone here, oh, someone would like definitely sue the restaurant for not deboning the fish. I know we're a big, overly suing culture, but I would much rather have a deboned fish than a fish with bones. Because it's so hard to eat, it's really annoying. Just, I don't want bones. Is that so much to ask? Another thing that's like kind of different in terms of the restaurant culture is like in America, if you go to a restaurant and be like, can I have a water? More than likely you're not paying for the water unless it's like really fancy and they only have like sparkling water or something. But the waitress or waiter will bring you a glass of ice water. Like, no big deal. You're not going to get charged for that. And it's not like you're going to get charged for that in Korea either, but it's not, you can't just ask the waitress for water, like, unless they give you these little plastic like pitcher tumbler things they'll give you sometimes, but really more than likely they're gonna have a water dispenser in the corner and you gotta go get it yourself. And they're in these little tiny metal cups that I know they get for sanitation purposes, but really they're just annoying because I can drink this much in one gulp. I want a glass, I want like a pitcher for myself because I'm thirsty when I drink, and I feel silly too because I feel like a lot of people don't drink with their meals, like water. Like, they might order a beer or soju or soda, whatever, but like nobody's just chugging down water. I just want some water, like, yay big. That's all I want. Another thing that I really noticed, and I could probably do a whole video just on this, is small talk. And I don't mean just between like people, like your friends or coworkers, like you do that. But if you go to a restaurant or a grocery store or a coffee shop, like in America, assuming the cashier is nice, in a good mood, and you are too, like you'll make small talk. Be like, okay, place your order. Oh, you know, the weather was like really crummy yesterday. Or how about that Packer game? We lost last week. But like, we'll talk about these kinds of things in America, like just very quickly, kind of make a personal connection real quick with your customer, and then, you know, you kind of go on your way, because it's really awkward just standing in line, like for example at the grocery store, and saying nothing. Now, some people may think, oh, you know, Janelle, it's because you're a foreigner and they don't think you can speak Korean. No, no, no. I mean, maybe that's part of it, but like I've observed people in line in front of me, like other Koreans, they don't do small talk. You say hi, do you want a bag? This, are you paying with a card? This is your total. Bye. Like there's nothing more to it than that. And some people like that, but every once in a while I like a little bit, you know, just like, hey, how's your day going? Oh, it's going okay. Oh, the cafe latte. Like just that, I don't know. I like it. I don't know if other people like it. I kind of missed it. Whatever. Now, a reverse culture shock thing that I got here was that you don't really readily give out your phone number to people. And like, not even just like friends or whatever, but like people you just meet. Like usually you don't just give out your phone number. But in Korea, like I would meet someone for the first time and be like, hey, I'm Janelle, hey, I'm so-and-so, and like you talk for a little while, like, oh, can I have your phone number? Or, oh, can I have your Kakao name? And like you just do that. It's not a big deal. But here you can't do that, and it kind of sucks, because like sometimes I meet someone and maybe I only see them one time, like maybe they work at the coffee shop, and I would just be like, hey, can I get your number? But here that's like, if you want someone's number, like you're asking for their digits, like you want to like date them or whatever. But it's like, man, I just want to meet some cool people and like cacao them and stuff, but can't really do that anymore. Now this is something that is sort of job dependent. I mean, not all jobs are going to be like this, but I mean, over there, I mean, I was pretty friendly with the other teachers because we're all sort of roughly the same level. And even my head teacher, like, even though they were the head teacher, like, I could still kind of talk with them comfortably and joke around a bit. But once you get higher than that, like, your boss, like, you don't get super friendly terms and you don't really joke around with them. I mean, of course, there's a language barrier thing. If you speak Korean well, whatever. But back here, now granted, right now I'm just working a part-time job, but I'm working the job I used to work too. And like, of course I treat my boss with with respect, but I can also joke around with him and like just be really silly, and I can call him by his first name. But like, you can't do that in Korea. Like, I wasn't just gonna rock up to my principal and start calling him by his first name and be like, hey man, like, what's up? Like, what'd you do last weekend? Like, I mean, again, that's job dependent. I mean, if you're working a more professional job, you may not be able to do that either. Maybe you can. I don't know. It sort of depends on your relationship with your boss. But the point is, I feel like no matter what my job, no matter what school I was at there, like, there's no way I was getting super close with my boss. Now here's another thing though that I didn't want. I think the boss was trying to be close with me, but he was asking me stuff that like, I feel like a boss here wouldn't ask. Like I lived in the same neighborhood as my kindergarten that I worked at. And so I could walk to school, and so my boss must have seen me, and I saw a friend one day, just like a guy friend who lived in the area, and we were talking. And so the next time my boss saw me, he's like, so, I saw you with your boyfriend. I'm like, I don't have a boyfriend. And he's like, well, I saw you talking with this guy and blah, blah, blah. And my other American coworker and I just straight up told him, like, I'm not comfortable with this. Like, you can't ask her about this. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I know that sounds kind of cold, but like, I don't need my boss getting up on my business and stuff. So maybe there was a contradiction between the two things I just said, but I feel like there are certain things you can talk about and certain things you can't, and I feel like obviously there's a culture divide between those two. And here's another thing. maybe that's where I'm going here with this thought. The things you would ask a person in America aren't the things you would ask a person in Korea. Korea, you meet someone the first time, hi, what's your name? The second or third question is gonna be, how old are you? You would not, that's an awkward question to ask here. I'm used to it, actually. I don't care telling people how I am. 29, turning 30 this year. Oh my god. But anyway, it's because of the age, the hierarchy thing, how you're gonna talk to somebody. I mean, 1 year age difference makes a big deal. Not so much with the younger folk, especially if you're a foreigner, you can waive that a little bit. But, yeah, you definitely don't rock up to somebody in America like, oh, hey, my name's Janelle. How old are you? That's just weird. Another thing you'd ask right off the bat, are you married? Again, you don't just do that to someone here in America. Be like, hey, I'm Janelle, I'm 29. Are you married? That sounds really weird. It sounds like you're asking if you can, like, get with someone. But no, again, like, it's not a big deal in Korea. They just want to know, like, what your relationship status is. They're not trying to get with you. Maybe they are, but more than likely, they just want to know, like, are you married? Are you married? Nah, whatever. This video ended up a little slightly ranty, rambly, more than I intended. I thought that might happen. And I've got way more things I could probably talk about in terms of culture shock and reverse culture shock. I don't know, I'll have to do another video down the road. But thanks, Megan, Chonun Miguk Saram, watch her stuff, for giving me the idea. Of course, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see ya.